And this is Switcher Talk. I'm Gary.
And I'm Brandon.
And Brandon, looks like the tropics have woken back up again, so we've got stuff going on.
Yes, it looks like they have. We have Tropical Depression 4. We currently have the 5th advisory on this one.
All right.
It's coming out as of 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This depression is expected to become a tropical storm later today or tonight and continue to strengthen over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. And we have some new watches and warnings to tell you about.
All right, run those down for us.
All right, first let me give you a quick summary here. As of 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, center of this disturbance located at 22.8 north by 82 west. That places it about 40 miles southeast of Havana, Cuba, approximately 125 miles south of Key West, Florida. Maximum sustained winds holding now at 35 miles per hour. And the storm moving presently to the west-northwest at about 15 miles per hour, and we are seeing 29.8 inches on the barometric pressure at the center of this disturbance. So, as Gary said, the tropics have once again reawakened, and we have another disturbance. Looks like it is going to make landfall in a few places.
Right, and there has been an added update to the latest watches and warnings, Brandon. If you could run those down for us now.
All right, yes, I will. So just a quick, first there were some watch and warning changes that came out with this advisory. We now have a hurricane watch in effect for the Florida coast west of the Osceola River to Indian Pass. That is new. We also have a storm surge warning currently in effect for the coast of Florida from Arapica to the mouth of the Osceola River. And a storm surge watch also in effect for the coast of Florida west of the mouth of the Osceola River all the way up to Indian Pass. So a couple of new changes there with this update. Let's go ahead and get a summary of what we currently have in effect. Hurricane watches in effect for Indian Pass to Yankeetown. Tropical storm warning for the Dry Tortugas, west coast of the Florida Peninsula from south of Yankeetown to East Cape Sable. We have a tropical storm watch in effect for the Florida Keys, south of the Channel 5 bridge, and a storm surge warning in effect for Arapica northward to the Osceola River, storm surge watch in effect for Bonita Beach northward to Arapica, including Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor. We also have storm surge advisories in effect west of the Osceola River to Indian Pass. For everybody,
just real quickly, Brandon, that area you're talking about with the hurricane watch and the storm surge warnings, that is in the bend of the western coast of Florida where it starts to bend in as you head toward Pensacola and everything. So it's that bend right there where the Osceola River is and all that. So if you're checking it on the map, that's where that's going to be, right in that area. So there you go. That's where the landfall is now likely to take place, but I wanted to give everybody an idea position-wise of what we're talking about. And, Brandon, they're also breaking down that the storm surge in those areas could be significant.
Yes, it could be. We have some storm surge predictions here. Now, this may or may not reach hurricane strength by the time it makes landfall in or around the Florida coast. So this is not going to be anything like what we had with Hurricane Beryl a few weeks ago. However, this does look to be a significant rainmaker, and it's important to point out that a tropical disturbance doesn't have to become a hurricane to cause some serious problems. Anytime you get heavy rainfall or heavy sustained rainfall, especially in low elevation areas, such as major coastlines, you run the potential for flooding and all of the problems that come along with that.
Yeah, flash flooding is going to be another issue again down there. You're right.
So with that, we have some storm surge predictions here.
Okay.
Now, the combination of storm surge and tide this time around is going to cause normally dry areas near the coast to be possibly subjected to flooding by rising rainwaters that will move inland from the shoreline.
Okay.
So we have some height predictions here around the peak surges, which will occur, of course, at the time of high tide. Arapica to the Osceola River could see 3 to 5 feet depths above land. Osceola River to Indian Pass, 2 to 4 feet. Bonita Beach to Arapica, 2 to 4 feet. Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor also 2 to 4 feet. Bear in mind, this is how deep the water could potentially get once it makes landfall and moves inland.
That's right. And I have friends live down in the Tampa area, and it is very flat, and of course it's basically sea level. So even 2 to 4 feet, that could bring 2 to 4 feet of water into your home real quickly. It doesn't take more than just, from what they've told me, more than about 10 or 15 minutes to flood when the storm comes across. So that's something to be concerned about.
Yeah, likewise. I have some extended family who live down in Florida and have kind of told me the same thing, that it's you get anywhere close to the coast, especially, it's very low elevation. Yeah. You're talking about sea level to just maybe a few feet or so above sea level. It doesn't take much to start flooding. No,
it doesn't. And also because on top of the storm surge, some pretty good rains in that area. Brandon, what's it looking at forecast-wise for the rains?
All right, let's take a look here. Well, as of right now, Tropical Depression number 4 is predicted to produce maybe up to 5 to 10 inches of rainfall, with some areas maybe receiving up to 15 inches across portions of Florida and other parts of the southeastern U.S. Now, this is this weekend through Thursday morning. Of course, as we've pointed out, when you get a lot of rain like that in an area that's at or very close to sea level, we are looking at the possibilities of considerable flash and urban flooding, with plenty of river flooding expected. For Cuba, rainfall amounts 1 to 2 inches, some localized higher amounts. Those will be possible through the rest of the day today. And so they may also encounter some isolated or scattered areas of flooding.
Right. And they can't rule out tornadoes, can they?
No. Anytime a tropical system makes landfall, you can never rule out the possibility of a tornado or two. Probably not much on this one. Right. If we do see any tornadoes, they're probably going to be fairly weak and short-lived. Of course, that does not mean that you disregard your tornado and severe storm precautions.
Right.
You still need to be taking those. In fact, now is a good time to start, if you have not already done so, making preparations.
Right.
If you're in a position to do so, fortifying your home. If you need supplies, now is probably about the tail end of the most opportune time to go to the store and stock up.
Right. And also the last thing I want to mention is, again, the possibility of storm swells from surf, and this is going to cause, again, issues with life-threatening surf and rip current conditions again, and especially in the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be very likely. And so even if you don't get a direct blow of the storm, rip currents are going to be affecting that whole eastern part of the Gulf off the coast of Florida. So it's going to be a problem. And again, talk about the rains, Brandon. You made a very good point. Those rains are going to start through tomorrow into Thursday. So it's going to take a while to move through, and that means people could get some significant rains, and it may rain for several days. I know the area of the southeast that you live in, there's a possibility you could pick up some decent rains over the next few days. Hopefully nothing flooding, but some places need the rain, so it'd be nice to get a nice general rainfall over 3 or 4 days would kind of help, but we'll see what happens.
That's true, especially given the fact that, during this time of the season, when we're pretty much right in the middle of the summer in this region of the country, large-scale systems that produce, a day or multiple days of steady, persistent rainfall are not nearly as common as your, hot summer day afternoon pop-up thunderstorms.
Right.
So, yeah, if this system does move through, and it does give several areas maybe a day or two of sustained, even light or medium rainfall, would be pretty welcome, because many areas around here are still dealing with mild to even moderate drought conditions.
Yeah, everywhere is like that right now. Well, here's the latest information, Brandon, from the Hurricane Hunters today. Tropical Depression 4 has become better organized as of late this morning, with the circulation becoming better defined over western Cuba, and curved convective bands forming close to the center of the southern semicircle of the forming eye. However, the circulation is still somewhat elongated, with multiple low vorticity Center is rotating around the mean center. The intensity of increased winds sustained at 35 miles an hour, and that's based on surface observations. Winds now along the Florida Keys, Brandon, are running about 15 to 25 miles an hour sustained with higher gusts. The depression will be starting its northwest turn and moving west-northwest at 15 miles an hour. Now, a large mid to upper level trough over the central U.S. is creating a break in the subtropical ridge, and the cyclone is expected to turn northward in this break over the next 24 hours. This should be followed by gradual turn to the northeast. This will bring it over the coast of Florida, up near the bend of Florida, and then at that point, then it moves through Florida, then will enter southeast Georgia, and on Wednesday morning, it'll emerge back over the Atlantic, and then the path gets kind of iffy as to how close it's going to be to the Carolina coast. It could be very close. It could be very far. Depending where you live in the Carolinas, you may not get any rain at all, or you may just get flooding rains. It really depends. But the upper level ridge over that area of the country is beginning to break down. That's going to allow the storm to move slowly but surely to the northeast over the next few days. Again, that's where we have what's going on with that. And this will become Tropical Storm Debbie. I expect that, Brandon, to be in the 5 o'clock update. It will be officially named Tropical Storm Debbie because the winds are just under that threshold. And I would imagine sometime late this afternoon or this evening, it'll be designated a tropical storm. There is an outside chance, Brandon, from what I'm hearing, it might hit hurricane strength just before landfall on the Florida coast tomorrow. Again, that is really, I hate to say this, again, it's an overused word, it's a coin toss, but it's going to be very, very close. They're saying sustained winds could be around 70 miles an hour by landfall tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
All right, and as you pointed out, at this point in time, it is still pretty much a toss-up as to whether or not this thing will strengthen to hurricane status before it makes landfall on the coast of Florida.
Right.
However, like we have pointed out in previous updates as well as in previous shows that we have done, if you have not started making preparations, now is the time you really need to get going on that.
Right.
The most opportune time to do it has probably passed at this point. Make sure you have things like weather radios, batteries. If you have your phone, make sure it's charged. Make sure you maybe have a separate battery to charge it with. If you should lose power, plenty of flashlights, plenty of non-perishable food and water.
Yep.
So don't waste your time with the milk, eggs, bread, and so forth. That stuff is perishable.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how well insulated your fridge is. If you lose power for the better part of a day or more, which is what tends to happen in these situations, that food is going to go bad.
Absolutely.
Focus on your non-perishable stuff.
That's right.
Trail mix, power bars, protein bars, bottled distilled water, maybe even some sports drinks.
That's a good thing,
beef jerky, peanut butter.
Yeah, those won't go bad. Again, now looking at landfall, I'm a little premature. That landfall probably occurs sometime very early Monday morning, maybe by 8 a.m., but it'll be definitely hugging the coast by Sunday night. So you have to really be careful, folks. This is going to be, winds will be about 70 miles an hour at landfall from what they're saying right now. It's just going to be under Category 1 strength. And again, like we've talked about, it's not the wind, it's the rain. And this rain is going to last at least for parts of the Gulf, not Gulf Coast, but the southeast U.S., at least through Thursday. So that means several days possible of rain in that area. And again, could be some places will get some relief from the droughts down there. Other places are unfortunately going to be bailing water. So again, just depends where you're at. And Brandon, go ahead and run down the stats of the current location and where it's going. What do we have here? Let's just give that 11 o'clock summary here.
Okay, so once again, as of 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the center of the disturbance was located 22.8 north by 82 west. That again places it 125 miles south of Key West, Florida, about 40 miles southeast of Havana, Cuba. Was showing winds maximum of about 35 miles per hour, heading to the west-northwest at about 15 miles per hour. Barometric pressure, 29.8 inches.
All right. And it will emerge over the southeast Gulf later this afternoon, and it'll be on its way to becoming a tropical storm. Tropical storm winds will be Tropical Storm Debbie, and that's when the sustained winds at 39 miles an hour. And so that will be more likely this afternoon or early Sunday morning. And 5 to 10 inches of rain, Brandon was sharing a few minutes ago. So that's going to be a major rainmaker again. And I think that should be all you need to know. If there's lots of rain coming, I would, get the wading boots ready because you're going to need them. But again, stay safe and smart. And listen, make sure you have ways to get warnings and make sure you have ways to, if you need to evacuate, make sure you're ready and you've made those plans. Don't wait till the last second because flooding rains, and we talk about more people dying of storm surges and flooding than they die almost any other way in these storms. So.
Yep, and just remember again, Gary and I both have friends and family who live in Florida. As we've talked to them over the years, many of those places, especially near the coast, you're not more than a couple of feet above sea level. It doesn't take much rain to start a flood.
That's right. So that's where you're going. That is our latest update right now that we have from the National Hurricane Center on Tropical Depression 4. We'll have another update around 6 o'clock this evening. By then, it'll probably Tropical Storm Debbie. We don't know yet, but there are lots of things happening on that. For Twisted Talk, I'm Gary.
And I'm Brandon.
And we'll be checking in with you later. Stay safe.